This is the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast, brought to you by Sysco. Sysco is here to help set you up for success by delivering high-quality foods, products, and services for your restaurant. Recording live to digital from the NCF&B studios in downtown Raleigh. Join us as we lead you into the kitchen, inside the bottle, and into the minds of the food and beverage industry. And now, informing the waitstaff, we're good tippers. It's Max Trujillo and Matthew Weiss.
Hello, and thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your co-host, Max Trujillo.
And I am your co-host, Matthew Weiss. And on this episode, we are so happy to have a visitor. And this gentleman is a chef visiting us from Denver, Colorado, because not only is he gracing Raleigh with a wonderful establishment that we're getting into, but he is also a top chef contestant on this season, and perhaps his biggest accomplishment yet has just signed on to cook at Bubbles and Brisket #4 on June 8th. He is Chef Manny Barella. Welcome, Chef.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm excited about Bubbles and Brisket.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, this is legally binding, so there's no way. You can't back out now.
It is official.
Yep. You signed on the dotted line.
Yeah. By the way, let's not bury that lead right here. I just saw on your Instagram that you just cooked some brisket recently. I believe you went to Texas or you did something. Franklin Barbecue. You showed a picture of some brisket on Instagram, right?
Oh yeah, no, that was in my backyard.
That was in your backyard.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I went to Texas for a little bit to learn about smoke and barbecue and whatnot, and then I came back and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get myself an offset smoker and start just playing around. And by the third time that I was using it, I was like, I'm gonna make my first brisket by myself and see what happens. And it came out really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out way better than my third brisket I've ever done. I'm like, damn, you're gonna need to show me. Like, come and hang out, spend some time.
You can stay over at Max's house. He's got a really cool new man cave and the whole thing. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
I call Little Spoon though.
Little Spoon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if anyone,
I don't know. You're a big dude.
if anyone listened to last week's episode with Savannah, I have crushes all over the place, and I did compliment you, Manny. I even sent you the clip. I was like, you know, if Padma's around, she could be on here because she's my celebrity crush. And then we were talking about how we knew you a little bit, and I was like, he's pretty easy on the ice too. So come on, Little Spoon. All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
Work.
I appreciate the compliment. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing to be on that competition that happens to be televised. So let's dig in there first. How did you get on? I know that you've worked in some very prestigious restaurants. Our good friend, or not our good friend, but somebody that we admire, Bobby Stuckey. You worked at Frasca Food and Wine, have an illustrious career at Michelin-starred restaurants. But how did it come about with Top Chef?
So I got reached out by a casting agent if I was interested in participating. I reached out to my team and I was like, should I do this? And I was like, yeah, yeah, you need to do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like just go with it and see where this takes me to. And next thing I know, here I am in this podcast.
Had you done competition cooking before?
No, like I did like little, like smaller, like not televised, one in California, but that's about it. Like I've never had anything like Top Chef, and I don't think there's anything out there like Top Chef, anyways.
Well, no, Top Chef is the top competition on food, like on televised food shows, right? Like there's nothing that's even close to it. It's what we judge all other shows by, I would say, right?
Yeah. Like you see, I noticed that other competitions will mention chefs from Top Chef. Right. But in Top Chef, they never mention what other competitions the chefs have participated in. See if that tells you anything.
Yeah. So to set the stage, what we can say at this point is that we are, as of this week, past round 3.
Yeah, right. So a little behind the scenes for anyone that's been following along. The episode that just released this week was with Savannah Miller, who is also she's Durham's and M Tempura's own to this local area, but she is also a contestant on Top Chef. And in the episode, we even said, "Oh, it's cool. Like Savannah, we know you. You're local. We've hung out together. She's cooked at some dinners that we've attended. But I also know you, Manny, and we know each other, I guess, randomly through like LinkedIn or something like that. Like somebody knowing that you were going to open a restaurant. We'll get into that a bit. You're opening a restaurant out here in Raleigh. Someone said like, "Oh, there's a guy that I know on LinkedIn, and he knows all the people in Raleigh. His name's Max Trujillo. You should get in touch with him." So I get a text message from you, or I got a message from him saying like, "Would you mind if this chef guy that's going to open up a place has your number or whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead. Connect us." And so we chatted, and then this was all happening around last Bubbles and Brisket that in the summer. And so you actually came out here to like scope out the place. You attended Bubbles and Brisket, so that was really cool. You had a good time, and then I just introduced you to some of the local people. I think. And we all know Chef Scott Crawford. I was like, you should meet him. And so I guess you guys had like a coffee or something like that, and get you acquainted with the local talent in the area. So. So that brings us to here. It's like we've maintained knowing each other since that point. And now you're on the show. You're opening a place in North Carolina. It all made sense. And you happen to be in town this weekend, right after we recorded with Savannah. So I was like, well, we got to get you on the mics. So we don't know exactly too much of what's happening. We did see after Savannah's episode, or after we recorded with her, the Top Chef episode happened right then. And let's talk about what happened to you.
We don't have to do that.
Oh no!
Oh, we sure do.
So for those that are not watching the show, at least as it opened, episode 1, Manny, he took it. Spoiler alert, but it's fine. It's already been out and everyone knows. He took the competition, which also meant that he got immunity for the next day or the next episode. And
wait, I thought you said that was gone.
Oh, only in the immunity is no longer part of the quick fire, which is the shorter event in the beginning.
Oh, but if you win the competition,
the whole
episode, then you have immunity for number 2.
Yes.
Gotcha.
The winner of the elimination challenge gets immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's elimination
Quick
challenge.
fire, then elimination, all in one episode.
Got
it. The quick fire now is more of like a cash prize, or they give you something from the whoever's like sponsoring that episode or so, and then. So Manny made a chili verde, right? That's what you
The pozole verde.
Pasol, that's right.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, just looking at it through the screen, you're like, oh my God. Like Felicia and I were like, we want to eat that so bad.
Yeah.
And he won. And so that was super cool. And then the next week happened and you still did a great job, but I don't think you were on the top or bottom. You were in.
I made it to the top 3 best dishes.
Oh, you did? That's right.
Yeah.
So basically you're kicking ass on the show the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. I should have come last week. That's what I should have. I should have come to the podcast. I should have been in the podcast last week. Yeah.
Because then episode 3 comes out, and it's a cheese competition, and you were given cheese curds as your competition, and it didn't go so well.
No, it did not. It did not.
Walk us through a little bit of
there are many elements that need to be taken in consideration. You know, I remember before going to Top Chef, you know, you're sitting on your couch, like, oh my God, how hard can that be? I can do that. I would do this. I would do that. And everybody would do something, right? But after participating in Top Chef, I would never in a million years judge competitions the same way.
Yeah.
It's a whole different beast, man.
So when you go into the day of shooting or, the competitions, you must have like a Rolodex of things that you're thinking of like, oh, I'd like to make this, or if this happens, I'd like to do this, or I'd like to incorporate that, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's, it's like everybody has it's like when you fight.
Yeah.
I used to do MMA and whatnot. Like everybody goes there with a plan until you get kicked on the face. And then you get kicked on the face and I'm like, oh boy. So you have an idea of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
There's obviously the time constraint and everything. And then, hindsight is 20/20, and right now I'm just thinking, well, I could have done this, I could have done that, and this would have been better. But at the time, you like that's the name of the game. You just gotta think on your feet,
right?
And then you, like in life, it's not gonna go perfect. But it's about how you recover, about how can you pivot here and there, and sometimes it's gonna go your way, sometimes it's not. Like the other chefs get to play as well.
Right. So yeah, I want to hear. I want to know inside the mind of the competition of the competitor, without you revealing too much or telling us what happened on the show. I want you to say like what was going through your mind at that time and what went wrong. But before you do that, you are building a brand here, Chef. This business you're doing and what you're bringing to Raleigh, which we're going to get into. So I just want to pause. We're going to get back to you and what you were thinking before the cheese curds.
Yeah.
For a quick word from our proud title sponsor, Cisco.
Yeah, and while we can talk all day about cooking up the most delicious barbecue like we just were, or pizza, or craft cocktails, it's really the business and the branding side of things that often determines the success in our industry.
That's why Cisco, the global leader in food service, is the best resource to keep your brand strong. Cisco knows that great ingredients are only one part of your recipe for success. By understanding your unique needs, they can offer you powerful solutions to run every aspect of your business.
And how? Well, Cisco has a team of experts that do in-depth consultations covering from everything like profit and loss statements to keeping your menu on trend. Whether you're looking for training materials, food cost advantages, or service ideas, Cisco has the expertise to fit your needs.
Visit Sysco.com. That's SYSCO.com to learn more about all the great ways Cisco can boost your restaurant's business.
Cisco, at the heart of food and service.
All right. So what happened? What was going through your mind, and then what went wrong?
Well, can we also, just for people that know or don't know, tell us what the challenge was, so that we knew like what were you tasked to do, and then tell us how the wheels came off a little bit.
So everybody gets the opportunity to work with different cheese, right? I am somebody that I particularly don't eat a lot of cheese.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking, please don't be the blue. Please don't be the blue. So then I get the cheese curds, and I'm like, I only know 2 preparations for cheese curds. And something that you learn there on Top Chef is don't hyperfixate on something. Sometimes it's good to take a step back, and I'm like, well, if I wasn't allowed to do these, what else would I do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And but you eventually just come up with that realization. But at the time, it's like, okay, you're trying to think fast and start to create fast. So once you have an idea, the worst thing you can do is just this is the one and only thing that I can do, which is what happened at the time.
And you were already nervous because you're like, oh man, cheese, it's not my pun intended wheelhouse.
Yeah, nervous is an understatement, my friend.
Yeah. You gotta keep your head on a swivel, like Matt, the middle linebacker that he is over there. You gotta look at all things. Don't get too committed to one thing.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get French fries. I'm not gonna get tater tots. That was my first thought. Okay, what can I do that is like a fried potato? Like, okay, so I'm gonna make I'm gonna make the potatoes and then just press them overnight. In a traditional restaurant, it works better when you freeze them and then you cut them part thawed. But I was like, okay, let's see if this works. I think I can just cut them while they're cold. Like there's a compromise. It'll be fragile, whatever. The next day, or like during the competition, we arrived to the location. And on the second episode, it was an outdoor place and it had tents, right? So we get there and we're like, guys, there are no tents. And then I just look at I look at the product and I'm just like, oh my God, my potatoes are on the sun. Like my potatoes are like, I was already compromising with not frozen ones.
Yeah.
Now they're not even cold. And I'm just like, damn it.
And if we haven't already mentioned this, the episode and the whole season take place in Wisconsin. And so I guess maybe you were like just outside of Milwaukee in this particular spot.
Yeah.
Or wherever, like countryside. You were at a cheese creamery, right? Like where they make cheese.
Yes.
Yeah. But you also were outside and I don't know what they say about global warming or climate change, but you were in Wisconsin and it seemed hot as hell.
It was 90 degrees.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 90 degrees that day. And
there were no tents.
Yeah, no, like we should have all made fun of you. like just room temperature fondue.
That is hindsight 2020.
Yeah, that's good. Melting pot. Did you spend a couple of years like working at the melting pot to figure out?
I just went for the first time 2 weeks ago, by the way, but we can talk about it at some other time.
Or not. It's
Yeah.
Okay, so you have cheese curds. You're gonna make this potato dish, but it's melting.
And it's not even like it's like warm mashed potatoes. By the time I get to my station, I'm just like, look, when you're there, you just have to roll with it. You just have to make something happen.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to do the best with what I have. And in my particular case, that put me in a position where like I am spending so much time trying to figure out the potato situation that I don't have a lot of time to worry about the cheese curds, unfortunately. And I mean, Will saw what happened, and I feel that the fact of knowing what you did wrong is also the first step into becoming better and correcting your mistakes. Mm-hmm. When you have a failure in a dish, and you approach it in a way where like, well, no, this is okay. I don't care what you think. That you're blocking yourself from the opportunity of growing.
Yeah.
But when you're like, and that's what I said in the episode. Like, hey, I messed up. Like, what else can I say? I messed up. We all mess up at some point. It's different when you do it in public.
Which is refreshing because that's not always the way a lot of previous guests on that competition would say things. Like, even if they knew they messed up, they're like, nope, this is exactly how I meant to do it. And like, I don't understand why you guys didn't like it. It's like,
this is the new age of non-hubris and humility.
Yeah. It's a nice place to be. So just going into the weeds even more with it. So I guess the biggest complaint was that they felt like the judges felt like you didn't specifically incorporate the curds into the dish. It was more like you just tossed some curds on top of what you had made.
I'm happy that the curds made it to the plate. Like I had a pizza oven there where I was gonna melt the curds into the potato. Like there was a plan. Yeah, I just ran out of time at that point. Like the plan was, I don't know if the plan would have given me a different outcome, but I can tell you that there was a plan for the curds in this particular challenge. But I was they're either gonna go like that or not at all. So you got to put something on the plate sometimes.
So what would you do next time?
What would I do next time?
Yeah, learning from this.
Now that I have put my hands on cheese curds, I've only had them like as I am a guest, already fried, already incorporated in the dish, but I have never held cheese curds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have the texture of Oaxaca cheese.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God, I could have made rajas. I could have made just...
What's rajas?
Rajas, you make roasted poblano with corn and onions and then cut the cheese curds in like little nuggets and incorporated them.
Yeah.
So they were not going to melt as much. They just get a little chewy, like Oaxaca cheese. And I would have just made rajas and incorporated them in a tostada or in a taco or something like that. And like, but I had, as soon as I grabbed them and I touched the cheese curds after we did all the shopping, I'm just like, oh man, now I can think about another 5 things that I could have done.
Yeah.
I think you even said that on the show. You're like, oh, this reminds me of Oaxacan cheese or so. But speaking of that kind of, let's go down your history a little bit because you're from Mexico.
Yes, Mexican as tortillas, my friend.
And as we're well aware, the border is not secure. I'm just kidding.
Hey, here I am.
So you got over here. Case in point, it's just a leaky border. No, but when did you, I guess, immigrate from Mexico to here?
Back in 2009, I got a J1 visa, which is an externship visa. Mm-hmm. So I finished culinary school. So I went to law school first. Drop out of law school after 3 years, go to culinary school. So I didn't start.
You're so close to finishing.
I know, but my moral compass didn't align with the corruption in Mexico. I wanted my life to be about doing something better for people.
So you were going to be like a public defender or something?
That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to go for criminal justice.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be like in the middle of the shit.
That's a good name for a cocktail, though. The Mexican lawyer. It's just like...
I thought you were going to say criminal justice.
Oh yeah,
Like
just
the Mexican
spicy
like, yeah,
Negroni or something like that.
like a mezcal drink, but like
it's gonna fuck you up.
yeah, because a good
Mexican
Mexican lawyer is gonna take you out.
Yeah.
Gonna take you out. So I didn't start cooking until I was 24 years old.
Oh wow.
So I graduate and I was like, you know what? I said that I was gonna be a lawyer in Mexico, but I could be a chef anywhere in the world. So let's put my money where my mouth is. And I applied for the visa, and then I moved to beautiful Tunica, Mississippi, to work at a casino, Gold Strike Casino.
Wow, dude.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
wait, what part of Mexico were you from?
Monterey, up in the north.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go to Mississippi, and I don't know how much you knew about that, but like Mississippi is one of, I'm sorry, Mississippians, but one of the poorest, if not the poorest state in the union. And thank
Wait,
you,
what was that,
Chidi.
Chidi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Chidi Kumar. She likes to call in and join. But and one of the worst education states in the country. And then not to mention that you are like in a casino there. Like, wow.
Well, in my head,
hater.
that's when you start thinking about perspectives. In my head, it's not Mexico, and I'm getting paid in dollars. That's
Yeah?
all. That's all
All
that
right,
matters.
man.
I know.
Yeah.
When people there were like, "Oh yeah, we're so underpaid," and I was like, "Man, you want to be underpaid? Go work." I feel that if there's a hell for chefs, it is working the omelette station on an all-inclusive resort in Cancun. That is like you want to be underpaid and overworked. Go do
Clip
that.
that.
Like here, you're getting paid in dollars here. Like, come on. Like it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like, but it's a matter of perspective, and then I understand everybody goes through their own hell, But for me, like,
your hell is in the walls that you create in your mind.
exactly.
Right?
Like I'm outside of Mexico, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to leave the country and work in America. And meet people from all over the world because we were 45 J1s, that's how we were called, from like 16 different countries. So
Oh, wow.
I
What
got,
part of Mississippi is this?
it's like 45 minutes south of Memphis.
Okay.
Memphis, Tennessee. Like it's in the Biloxi area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you weren't like completely rural? It was like somewhat
Oh,
near?
well, man, my apartment complex was surrounded by cotton fields.
Oh, wow.
There was nothing
wow.
else. Nothing else.
Yeah.
But just cotton fields.
But the place was like a nice place. Like it was a nice resort in Mississippi.
It's a casino, Gold Strike Casino.
Casino, but I mean, it was nice, I guess.
Is there
It was
such
nice.
a thing?
So I have
Was
I
Brett
have a
Favre showing up there and like trying to...
Yeah.
I mean,
Texting everybody.
Nice. I mean, I ended up going on vacation to Atlanta a couple months later, and as soon as I got to Atlanta, I'm just like, man, I live in the middle of nowhere. I
Yeah.
did not know that. But I have a funny story of cultural shock on Mississippi. So I get there, and we stayed in the hotel for 3 days, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so excited to try the food of the world, the culinary aspect of traveling. And I go to the cafeteria, and I'm just like, oh my God, catfish? That is so exotic. I was so excited. Like I'm getting to try different ingredients and look at catfish. I've never thought I was gonna. And then like 3 days later, and you're like, damn, catfish is everywhere.
Yeah. Enough with the frickin'. Do they have anything else in this country besides damn it catfish?
That's probably how, like, when you're in Cancun or Tulum, which I was in a couple of years ago, and you're having like conchinita pibil, and you're like, this is amazing, and everywhere. It's like everyone that lives there's like, this is what we eat every day.
Yeah.
Like no one cares.
Yeah, or avocado toast. That's my struggle meal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's delicious though, so that's all right.
I guess not if you have it every day or have to make it every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what was the next move how'd you get out of Mississippi?
I went to Mexico for a little bit, but like that's like I don't even have it on my resume. And then I went back to Atlanta, Georgia. So I worked at the St. Regis in Atlanta at the time, 2011, 2012.
That's a pretty good step, going to the St. Regis from...
Oh yeah, it was incredible. I worked for Jonathan Jerusalemi, Master Chef of France. Then he, after a year, he was like, "Hey, I'm moving to be the culinary director for Sea Island.
Oh,
Would you
that's
like?
right.
Would you like to come with me?"
Oh, that's where Scott Crawford was.
Yeah.
He was there before, I believe.
Yes.
Well, at that time, I don't know.
No,
Probably not.
He
was
had
already
just
at
left.
Onset at that time, probably.
Yes,
Yeah.
I moved to Sea Island with a TN visa, which is a 3-year visa, and I started working for Danny Zeal, who was working under Scott, but Scott had moved.
That's right,
So
okay.
I worked at the Georgian Room, and that was like my first fine dining experience. So I worked under Danny for a while, and I was there for 3 years. And then I kept moving. I mean, I can tell you, we can go down the list, but there's.
How'd you get to Denver?
So I wanted to work at Frasca.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Frasca was my dream job. I dedicated like 3 years of my life focusing on like what I needed to do to grow to be deserving of a spot at Frasca.
Yeah.
Eventually moved to Boulder, and I
Just
made
so
my dream
everyone
come true.
knows, Frasca Food and Wine is a Michelin star restaurant, and Bobby Stuckey is a master sommelier there who owns it and partnered with Chef
Lachlan Patterson.
Lachlan Patterson.
Yeah, and I have a short anecdote for that, but Lachlan Patterson and Bobby Stuckey took over Animal in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, years ago as like a marketing collaboration thing with the guys, Vito and I forget the two dudes that own Animal, but they've actually been judges on Top Chef in the past. They're amazing, great restaurant. And Lachlan took over the kitchen, made some of the best Italian food I've ever had, and Bobby paired all of it because we, at the time I was a wine rep, were selling Scarpetta, which is their winery or their Italian winery out in the area, and super cool dudes, by the way.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, let's get you on the show sometime, Lachlan and Bobby. That would be fun, and it'd be good for your careers, as we've mentioned.
Obviously.
Yeah, to get on the show.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so yeah, you didn't just like. This is no run-of-the-mill restaurant. This is arguably one of the greatest restaurants in our country. Like it's phenomenal.
I think they're nominated again this year for either Best Hospitality or maybe Restaurant of the Year for the James Beard.
At the time that I was there, we won James Beard Outstanding Service, Outstanding Restaurant
Of the Year, yeah.
or Best Service. I can remember right now, like one of those, more front of the house focused.
Oh, okay. Which
but
shout
still.
out to Scott Crawford, who is a finalist this year for that same award.
Exactly. Yeah. So that happened. So Frasca happened, and I was just like in cloud nine. That's all I wanted for so long.
Did you have a chef friend like connect you, or they like you just send a resume in? How did inspire the people that are like that are like looking for their dream
So
job?
I was living in Napa.
Okay.
And then I knew that I was going to move to Boulder. So I decided to work at Solage, Verge Resorts, under Massimo Falsini. So it was one Michelin star Italian restaurant just for me to get ready. Then I literally just reached out to Frasca, and I was like, hey, I'm moving. Can I come stage? I'm looking for a job. And then Kelly June and Eduardo Vallelobo were the co-executive chefs at the time. They reached out to me. And,
Did you just reach out by email, or you called, or
No, by email.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like knock on the door, basically. And they were like, yeah, when you're in town, come over and stage. So I went over there in March 2018. Unfortunately, the money wasn't there at the time. I was like, man, I was married at the time. And look, I'm a 33-year-old married man. I cannot be making this much per hour. I won't say how much, but like I just can't.
It's good for the resume. That's
So I
good-
remember leaving, and I was just thinking, man, I feel that I just broke up with the hottest girl in town. I came back a couple months later. I negotiated something. It still was a huge sacrifice, but it like this is my dream. Like I need to do this for my career.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I did. It just shaped the rest. Uchi came after that. Then opened my own restaurant, and then Top Chef, and my current position.
Yeah.
Yeah, of which you were nominated for a James Beard Award in the regional area of Denver for your restaurant.
So
last
I was
year.
2022. I was
2 years
semifinalist for emerging chef.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you've been on the radar. It's like you've got the path. I mean, you have a pretty damn good resume, and you've kind of put yourself in some really cool spots. So it only makes sense that not only are you on TV and you're doing well, but now you're opening up a restaurant here in Raleigh.
Yeah.
And the Jaguar Bolera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
So it's from the people that brought Punchbowl Social back in the day. So it is the entertainment concept, where we're offering more than just the food. So we're going to have duck ping bowling, we're going to have darts, karaoke, we're going to have pickleball, fastest growing sport in America. So Robert Thompson, my boss, when we sat down and talked about it, we were like, okay, we want to have an entertainment concept, but that is focused on the food, not only like your traditional chicken tenders and burgers and chicken quesadillas and stuff like that. So that's where I come in.
Yeah.
So I like,
So like super elevated food at a entertainment spot. Like,
Well, it's
not
like
to
top,
oversimplify-
it's like Top Golf,
Yeah.
or what's the one we have here? Drive Shack, and their food. I'm sorry, I'm gonna out you guys. It's awful. It is terrible.
I wrote the menu for that.
Well, you did a bad job. Then. You did an awful job.
I didn't do that. Oh,
No,
it's not
but,
that
like,
bad.
I
But
just don't understand why they couldn't no, it's all frozen stuff. There's no thought put in it. It's just
Yeah.
like the most generic, basic you could imagine. It's like everything's out of a bag.
and that is okay for a lot of people, like, because you go to those places and you go to like for the activities. We wanted to change that.
Yeah.
We want people that to go there for the food, and they happen to have activities. So even though because of the volume, we're doing counter service, but one of the things is going to be a scratch kitchen. So we're not getting anything frozen, anything par breaded. That was like the one thing, or like if it's going to be counter service, it needs to be scratch kitchen. So there's it's not like fine dining by any means, but it's the approach and the thought and the consistency of the things that I have learned at a high like scale restaurants, at Michelin star restaurants, at Raleigh Chateau, but just on a more approachable way, but with the flavors of that level.
you gonna make that Pizzol Verde?
A lot of people have asked me about that. We'll see. Well, the menu is already ready to go.
Yeah.
So I may come back after I deal with all the other things of an opening.
Yeah, but you guys are going to be opening up in like the Raleigh Ironworks area. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. We're opening in Ironworks. We're opening. The grand opening is on May the 18th.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're taking over one of the spaces there, which I stopped by last time that I was in town, and I'm just super excited. It's a great location.
Yeah, and obviously Scott Crawford is opening Brodetto imminently, or I think it's already open, or maybe like there's previews. Our good friend Andia has some of the best ice cream in North Carolina there.
East Cut
East Cut
sandwiches.
Sandwich Shop.
They're delicious, by the way. So, and I don't know, there's a lot more coming soon, but this whole area is just next to the loading dock area. It's just adjacent from
Whitaker
downtown.
Mill. Yeah.
But it's the growth of Raleigh.
It's a very cool area.
It's happening,
Yeah.
folks.
We're having neighbors.
So Manny, how does this work now? Like you're a partner in this company. You mentioned something like Robert Thompson is your boss, so he owns the company, and then you're developing these. What's the situation?
Yeah. So I am the culinary director.
I see.
Yeah. So I am in charge of the creative part of the menu.
And how many concepts or how many locations is that currently?
So right now, there are multiple of those in the works, but officially we're doing Raleigh in May, then we're doing Atlanta in October. Then
That's going to be the
no, this is still Jaguar.
okay.
Then we're opening in Denver the other concept, which is called Camp Pickle, which is like a 1950s summer camp with a Mexican twist.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it like imagine like Top Golf for pickleball. That's how I would describe it. That's
amazing.
In Denver in 2025. We have 2 locations in Denver actually, and there's also another one in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh wow.
That is coming, and then the other ones are still in the works, so I don't want to jinx them, but just think about this. I think back in the day, Punch Bowl had 22 locations all over the country. If that tells you anything about the ambition of the company.
Mm-hmm. No, I love this concept, entertainment. I mean, and we talk about it all the time. As a matter of fact, we had a guest in here from the University Club, and they're a private club. They don't really have entertainment other than they're just like a people club, but like most of the golf courses you go to, or even if you go to like a driving range or a bowling alley or these things, like the culinary offerings are, let's just be nice and say subpar.
Yeah.
And I just never understood that. Like, and the Punch Bowl, remember in LA, at the Kodak Theater, they had the high end bowling alley, which had like a serious cocktail bar. And like, that just makes so much sense to me. I don't understand why more people aren't doing that. Or they just like lackadaisically just do the rote stuff at a country club or whatever of these places.
Maybe we're about to break ground and be pioneers on that, and hopefully, I mean, it'll be for the betterment of the concept. You know, somebody will see what we're doing and be like, "Oh, this can actually be done." So
yeah,
who knows?
Do you remember we just had we had the youngest cast or the youngest guest we've ever had on the show, Emerson Polly, who was on Iron Chef Kids.
Yes.
And
Master
Chef Kids, sorry. Yeah. And he was on recently, and one of the questions we posed to him was like, if you could open up your place, what would you do and how would you do it? And his focus, he had said, was, well, the food's got to be great, but there has to be entertainment. He's like, I want to do it this way. And I was like, what a refreshing and smart thing to say from a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? Because he sees the struggle from the only years that he's really been conscious have been all COVID years, and everything's delivery and everything's like just do it at home. So in his mind, he's like, well, the only way you could get someone to go out is because you've brought something like to do there. And it's like, yeah, that's obvious. It seems simple. So you can't just open up a cool restaurant anymore, folks. You gotta provide a show, at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it has to be, but I think more to the point of like, if you're going to open up a driving range or a bowling alley or a pickleball courts, like have some good options for food and drink, because
there's no reason at this point of technology and the way we can source and we can get everything so easily, and having talent like yourself readily available and understanding like how to do things in a structured way, that you could accept having shitty food.
Correct. And it's just like, you could make something as easy as a bagel, perhaps. So,
wow, Matt, it's a good transition.
I don't know if you know this, but this weekend, as we record this, the weekend that this episode comes out will come out on a Thursday. It will be Saturday. We are doing a little preview to Bubbles and Brisket called Bubbles and Bagels. And based on our concept of how Bubbles is the ultimate pairing with everything, and everybody should be drinking more champagne and sparkling wine. And so it's going to be on Saturday, April 13th at 11:30 a.m. at Wine 100, this great new wine shop in Holly Springs, downtown Holly Springs. And their neighbors and our good friends at the Pimento Tea Room, Chef Christy Griffith, is making the bagels. She's making these little mini bagels. There's going to be all the accoutrements like salmon and capers and cream cheese and chives and jalapenos and all different wild flavor combinations. And so if you're around that Saturday, or if you know somebody, tickets might be all sold out, but if you go to ncfbpodcast.com, you can get your tickets there, and we hope to see you on Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That sounds great. I wish I was here, but I'm going back to Denver.
That's okay. You're joining us for the big event.
Yeah. I'm very excited about just bringing my brisket to North Carolina and see what you guys have to say about it.
Yeah. Or do you know, like, was the one you made, did you have some sort of Mexican flair in there or spice?
So the brisket itself, it's I didn't, I guess, Mexicanize it too much, but then with the brisket we're doing, so the menu will be like 70% Mexican, 30% American Southern. Yeah. Like brisket enchiladas verdes, for example. I have biscuits and gravy, but the gravy I'm making it with a green chorizo and thickening it with masa. Nice. I have habanero crema, shrimp and grits, smoked pork ribs al pastor, things like that. I love the combination of food. Instead of just staying on the box of like, it has to be Mexican, it has to be Southern, it has to be Italian. You're like, why don't we just have fun and start mixing that? Yeah, just make it taste good.
Yeah, and you don't need to term it like fusion, whatever. It's just great ingredients.
Yeah, like especially because with all my travels, I have worked in 12 different restaurants in my life. I have worked anywhere from French, Italian, New American, Mexican, Japanese. So why not bring things that I have learned throughout my travels and put them together? Like, this is who I am. I'm just like a mix of cuisines. Yeah. So why does it have to be just one if it tastes good?
Yeah, no, I love it. And I don't know if our good friend, Chef Alex Ricci, who will also be at Bubbles and Brisket, cooking for Original Grills, he'll be making something there. Right here. There you go. Shout out to the Kingdom Brothers.
He's wearing a shirt and flashing us.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we're on YouTube, right? So if you're if you're only listening to this, you can watch this. It's the secret's out.
Especially this one with the handsome Chef Manny over here. You gotta tune in. Yeah. But
Thank you guys.
but he made in honor of us because Max is partially of Mexican descent and I'm Jewish, and so he made a masa ball soup, and instead of where you would typically have like some shredded chicken, he put chorizo in it, and like it was almost like a birria broth kind of thing. Is that even still on the menu there? Probably not.
I mean,
but
he changes the menu all the time. But
Yeah.
I think it's like one that he kind of stores up there and will bring out every now and then. But yeah, it was like a birria broth, masa, but it was
matzo
served
balls.
basically to look like matzo ball soup.
Yeah.
but you used masa and birria. It was
It's interesting.
delicious.
It sounds like chocoyotes, which is just boiled little balls of masa.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
chocoyotes.
Yeah, so it like going back to it, like when you start like mixing those things, like it's fun also.
Totally.
To mix that, we were doing a little pop up in Denver, and like one of the dish I call it my favorite child. I have mafaldine with a birria ragu, but it was like topped with onions and cilantro and lime, like you would do with Mexican food.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is Mexican flavors with Italian textures, like. And when it works, it's just there's one thing of fusion and there's confusion. So
that's good.
So what else is going to be on the menu at tell us, make us hungry at Jaguar Bolera?
I'm starving right now. By the way.
I offered you a sandwich before.
So I have carnitas torta. I have a cochinita pibil, talking about that, which is like one of my favorite things that I've ever done is my cochinita pibil. I have chorizo hush puppies with avocado crema. I have lamb birria taquitos in it. I have, oh my God, wait until you guys try my pimento cheese with salsa macha on it.
Oh.
It is fire. I know that there's like a pimento cheese event that just happened 2 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks ago, something in Raleigh.
The pimento cheese and North Carolina are kind of like
synonymous.
So I didn't grow up with pimento cheese. I didn't know about pimento cheese until I lived in the South.
Yeah.
And I love it. My favorite cheese for a burger is pimento cheese. Yeah. So things like that that I will be incorporating on the menu slowly, and like cream corn, but let's make it Mexican.
So, by the way, that sounds delicious. So this is your like full-time job now as culinary director. You are going to go opening up new concepts under this umbrella.
Yes, yeah. So I'm like hiring my executive chefs and having the team coming over here, open it, getting it running, go back to Denver and start working on the next location, and then just traveling, opening, overseeing, doing all that thing, just making sure that we hire properly, so I don't have to. Like,
so this is a little bit of a career change.
Oh my
right?
God,
like,
yes.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I mean, do you think you're going to miss the finer dining aspects? Not to say that like you're still making everything from scratch kitchen and sounds like some really high end, heady, cool stuff, but are you going to miss the?
I do miss it. I miss it already. Not being in the trenches, shoulder to shoulder, like covered in sweat, cooking and everything. But I gotta grow.
Yeah,
you'll get over that.
Yeah, no,
your first Saturday off, you'll be like, "This is nice."
I mean, don't get me wrong. That is really nice. But still, like the easiest part of my job is the cooking part. But I also have to like keep growing as a chef, and I wanna learn that everything that happens before opening day. Mm-hmm. Everything that happens before turning the lights on that first day. Like, how did we get to this point? What material the floors are going to be like? Why are we getting this oven and not this other oven? What kind of hoods? Like, all those things are things that I'm learning as I am doing this, that I have not been exposed to. And that's something that I talked to Robert when I came in. Like, listen, man, if you're looking for somebody that has done this, I am not your guy, and no feelings will be hurt. I totally get it. But if you put me in a position where I will learn, I will do my homework, and I will work my ass off, and you will have everything from me. But I just want to set the expectations. Almost like in a relationship. Like,
yeah.
Like
this is what I bring to it.
Yeah, this is what I bring to it, and I'm willing to go the extra mile and work really hard. And he just put his faith in me, and I'm very grateful for that. And he was like, I'll grow you in the company's culture, send me over to Texas to learn about barbecue, support me throughout the entire time that I was in Top Chef.
That's great.
Yeah, so I'm very, very lucky that I landed in this company.
All right, well, let's take a quick break to drink some delicious coffee from Carborough Coffee Roasters up there in Carborough, North Carolina. And we have Lane Mitchell on the line. Lane, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How y'all doing today?
Couldn't
Doing
be
great.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful spring morning, right?
Yeah.
Lots of pollen.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
It's a good
It's like, this
additive
is-
for coffee. I sprinkled a
Right.
little bit in my coffee this morning.
This is the time of year you walk out of the house and your white car is yellow. So
Yeah. Well, Lane, what are we drinking in this beautiful green season?
yes, so I pulled today one of my favorite farmer producers, Annabella Menezes, and she has 5 farms in the Asuntenango Valley region of Guatemala. She's a master agronomist, and so what she loves to do is to take coffees and process them in ways that really kind of bring out some very unique flavors. So this is one of my favorite ones I'm drinking these days is her Red Typica. And it's actually, Red Typica is one of the oldest coffee varietals that we know of in the world. What she does is something really unique. She soaks it twice, so it's a double soaked Red Typica. So she washes it, soaks it, washes and soaks it. And that brings out a lot of the really dark fruit in this, a lot of the dark chocolate, dark caramel, fruit, plums. Whenever I drink it, I taste some kind of a purple grape and that kind of feeling of a velvety texture in my mouth, which is really quite interesting. I think, Red Typica is one of those coffees that's a coffee lover's coffee. It's kind of the grandmother of all coffee varietals that we know of, and like Java and Bourbon. But she does a really great job making an old coffee new again.
It's delicious. What do you think, Savannah?
It's so good. I mean, I typically will put a little cream in my coffee, but this is like perfect black.
There
It's
you
really
go.
nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Silky.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Lane, thank you again so much for offering this delicious coffee for us. And for those out there interested and want to get some coffee themselves, go to carboroughcoffee.com. And here you can find all their selections online and at all of their local locations in the Triangle. Thanks again, Lane.
Okay, take care.
Yeah, before we get out of here, let's relate it back to the Top Chef competition.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to go any further into what happens beyond this time, and hopefully, by the time this episode has come out, you're still on the show and things are going great, and we'll be rooting for you from our couches. But let's talk about like the fraternity or the team. What I've noticed is that once a contestant has been on Top Chef, it's pretty cool, but it seems like there becomes like a community around it, and you get to rub elbows with other Top Chef contestants and maybe collaborate with and do things. Like at this point, have you met a lot of the other previous guests and previous contestants, and is there that camaraderie that seems, at least from my point of view, pretty active?
Yes. So I knew Byron Gomez already.
Oh yeah.
From before, even before I got into Top Chef, Carrie Barrett being in Denver. But yeah, something that you said about the camaraderie, we talk every day. Like like my people from my season,
Yeah.
we have a group chat and we literally text every day. Like after when I opened the pop up, the morning after, Kevin called me. And just call me just to check how the pop-up went. Like we are so close. Like I love him to death. Because we went through something that nobody will ever understand. Not even people from other seasons. Like they everybody lived their own experience, and they may like have something in common.
Mm-hmm.
But Top Chef season 21, no one will understand what we went through except us. And that is something that keep like we're trauma bonded.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, nice. It's cool. So that means that maybe you'll do things in the future with some contestants or like former people just because you're all great chefs and you collaborate.
I'm actually it just came out before when I was walking here. On August the 4th, I'm cooking with Dan Jacobs in Dandan
Cool.
Wisconsin. So he's doing a whole Four Hands, I think is the name of the event.
Yeah.
In both of his restaurants. So people like Kevin, like Danny, like Michelle, Amanda, Sue, myself, like we are going on one per month to do an event with him.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's
really cool.
it's super exciting. Like like these people that I met. That's the best thing that I got out of Top Chef. Not the recognition, not the competition. It's just the people that I met is on the top of what I got out of being in Top Chef.
Sound like a guy standing on the victory stand.
And then don't speculate, man. Don't speculate.
Yeah.
I asked Savannah, so I have to ask you.
Yeah.
You know what happened, and here you are. You're very experienced, and the viewers are watching it. How hard is it to keep that secret from like those close to you?
In the beginning, it was very hard, but when I come back, even the people that signed the NDAs that knew that I was going, and they were like, "How do you do?" And I told them, "Okay, we went to hell and back, and it was the most rewarding and most challenging thing I've done in my career. That I think I earned the right for you to watch it and enjoy it with me, be happy with me, be sad with me, be stressed with me. Like it is a beautiful experience that should be enjoyed the way that it was meant to be enjoyed. So don't let me tell you the ending of the movie. Just enjoy the movie."
I love that. What's a great answer. Yeah, like don't go peeling back the Christmas presents to figure out what's in there. Just wait to Christmas. Open the presents then.
You're not gonna tell me, but I signed the NDA, and I was like, yeah, but I earned that. Like we earned that. Just enjoy it. Watch it with us.
It's like when I watch historical fiction with Sarah, and she'll like, we'll watch The Crown, and then like during the episode, she's like, "Did this really happen? Did this like?" Can't we just sit back? Like they're telling us, this is entertainment. We're enjoying this. Like, let's wait till the end. Like when I watched Wrexham, like I didn't look. I went back and watched it.
Seasons,
I didn't look how they did or where they were now. Like I just wanted to experience what happened, and like if they do get promoted, I want to experience what that joy must have been like without knowing beforehand.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of hard work, not only from the chefs or from the production team and like everybody behind it. Like it is a huge production. There's a lot going on. To be like, I mean, also we're already like the season is already happening. It's just a matter of time. It's not like you gotta wait a year to watch it. Like just wait until next Wednesday.
Yeah,
just watch it on Wednesday, man.
I can't wait for you to sit down with Sarah to watch Inglourious Bastards and tell her it was an actual factual storytelling of how things went.
Based on true story.
Yeah. At the very beginning, this is my last question. At the very beginning, at the top of it, you piqued my interest. You said that you were into MMA at some point.
Yeah.
How involved were you in MMA? Did you actually fight on some sort of professional level or
no, not at all. I did amateur. Like the biggest fight that I had was Battle at the Beach in Jekyll Island when I lived in Georgia. But it was just for fun.
Did you break a few noses?
I got mine broken a couple times. Yeah.
What's your specialty? Like, are you a boxer? Are you a jiu-jitsu or
Muay Thai?
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I like contact sports. I never play soccer or basketball. I just play football, like American football.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, for like 12 years, and then I did boxing and MMA, like just utilizing. When I was 14 years old, I was 6'1", 225 pounds.
Oh,
so I was a big kid.
You're a big kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Mexico, American football is actually pretty popular now,
Yeah,
right?
especially in Monterrey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big deal. I mean, I think the highest attended football game ever was in Mexico City with the 49ers played some crappy team. I don't know, whatever.
The Cardinals.
But they have
whatever,
the Cowboys play there all the time, and
the Raiders.
Actually,
when the Raiders go, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
'Cause
There's a lot of
a lot of Latinos. That love
where do
Raiders.
your American sports loyalties lie? Being from Mexico, living all over this country.
Growing up, I was a 49ers fan. Then I watched Peyton Manning play in 1998. Then I was a Colts fan.
Okay.
Nowadays, my fiance is like, "Are you gonna watch a game?" And I was like, "Yeah, which game are you watching?" I'm like, "I don't care. I just want to watch a good football game.
Yeah.
Like I just want to eat some food, drink a beer, watch football, and it better be a good game regardless of who's playing. I just love football."
Your PR team is smiling right now. You're extremely good at diplomacy.
Well, the Raiders
rougher
could
on the
always
edges.
use a good fan base and like a chef that's a part of it. You make some food for the Raiders, so we'll accept you into the Raider Nation if you want to come over here. But I was leading the witness a little bit with this MMA thing. This is just stupid and not related to any food related things. But have you seen the most recent, the retake of Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I have not, but I thought I was gonna be able to watch it on the flight here, but I was like, oh no, I think it's in the movie theater. Like,
No, it's on
Amazon.
You can watch
it's on Amazon. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
I'm definitely watching it.
Matt, have you seen it?
No, I have not.
I have watched it, and your boy Conor McGregor is like the villain in the show,
Of course.
and it's his first screen. I wanted to get your opinion on it. If anyone's seen it, like I had to go to Reddit after I watched the movie because I just wanted to see what people were commenting.
Is he bad? Oh my god.
It's not that it's bad. It's like he will do more movies because he jumps off the screen, but it's polarizing his character because one could just cast him off and be like, that was the worst performance I've ever seen by any actor ever. Or is it so bad that it actually was really cool and kind of entertaining? He also just does some like bold things, like he walks through an entire city bare ass naked and like just going nuts. And he kicks a lot of ass throughout the whole thing. But from an MMA fan or fighter in general, I just wanted to get your opinion. Watch it. Give me the notes that you have later
I will
on.
shoot the text.
It was over the top, but watch it, Matt. It's a good watch.
Conor McGregor.
Anyhow, Matt, you got anything else for Mr. Barella before we get out of here?
You know what? No, I'm just excited that you're bringing something to Raleigh like this. And actually, yeah, I do have that last question. What was the decision to come to Raleigh? Where was that based upon?
I think that by the time I came to the company, the Raleigh has been already chosen. My guess, based on conversations that I've had and like knowing a little bit more about Raleigh, is that the speed at what Raleigh is growing, and then you see a place like Ironwork, like it only makes sense to like, hey, I want a spot there.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that my
We're a
concept
part of that.
is exactly. So not that Robert has said those words, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some of that to the thought process of why Raleigh. And the more time that I spend here, the more that thought makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, we're excited that you're coming. We're really excited that you're going to be cooking at Bubbles and Brisket. We'll see you there. I'm excited to try that brisket.
Oh, man.
And for all of you out there, it's happening in May. So, hold on. June, it's happening this weekend, Bubbles and Bagels. Get your tickets. And then it will be happening in June, Bubbles and Brisket. Get your tickets for that, too. That's the big one. And it's happening May 18th, apparently. Jaguar Bolera. Get your butts down there. You will eat and drink extremely merrily.
Yeah, I heard the voice.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the NC F&B podcast. And if you've stuck with us this long, review us on iTunes and remember, 5 stars are encouraged.